my third deal, I had another partner who brung me, I think it was like a 4-acre parcel in Tampa, near Tampa. Um, and we had it under contract for $195,000, and we ended up selling it for 225,000, I believe.
Nice.
And me and that partner that brought me the deal, he ended up walking away with a $17,000 check, and I ended up walking away with a $17,000 check. In the back of Home Depot, they have these computers, and I got an email notification from the title company basically saying, hey, we're all closed up. I'm going to send you an e-check. I'm literally staring at the check. I'm looking at my apron. I'm staring at the check. I'm like, dog, I just made $17,000 in Home Depot right now. These people don't even know how much money I just printed out. I'm gone.
Yo, back again with another episode of Attractive Mindset. And today's guest is an absolute powerhouse. This is only one man of a two-man team, but I'm telling you, when you hear their company's name in the market nowadays, they're just growing. They have over 100 students already. And when, combine the words flip and land together, there's no way that you don't hear about them. But I'm going to let you hear more from him, Mr. Jeffrey Altidort.
What's going on, Rich, man?
Happy
to have you here. Man, I'm just excited to be here, man, and actually spread the knowledge. But shout out to everybody out there that don't know who I am, but I'm Jeffrey Altidort. I'm a 27-year-old real estate investor, land investor. And I've been in the game for about going on to 4 years now. And I just want to go ahead and spread my knowledge out here to the people listening, man.
Love that. So tell us a little bit about what you do. I know DeAndre's not here with us today, but you're going to hold it down.
Of course. So basically, man, what I do, I'm a land wholesaler. What we do is we reach out to people who own these lots and land. And we sell it to home builders, developers, people who want to build on these lots. And basically, man, Rich, all we do is we flip contracts, right?
Okay.
You don't need no money to do it. Not enough. I mean, not really that much capital, honestly. But really pretty much what we do, right? We get these people under contract, right? And there's a clause in the contract that allows us to assign the contract to the land developer or the builder. And then from there, once we have the contract with the seller who owns that piece of property, right now, all we're doing, right, is just basically selling that piece of paper, that property that we have on the contract, to another developer who wants to buy it for $5, $10, $15, $20,000, right? And then boom, once we find that developer who wants to take it for X amount of dollars, now all we do is send that buyer or that builder an assignment contract, right, where he signs for a different price, right? Get both of those contracts to a title company, and we get it closed in 30 days, 45 days, sometimes even less.
Got it. Amazing, man. I love hearing stories like that because, of course, I'm self-employed myself, but it sounds like you're just a professional middleman.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I love that because it's so hands off, and getting into these type of markets nowadays, it's becoming a lot more accessible for people to get into fields like this without having to know a whole bunch of things or have these type of degrees and everything. And so, tell me how you even got into that field.
Man, so when I first started, right, shout out to my boy DeAndre, but he was the one who put me on to wholesaling. And when I first started, we were doing wholesaling houses, right? And man, was that tough. And usually when you hear wholesaling, right, a lot of people, they know the traditional way, right? Oh, you get a house under contract and you sell it. A lot of people know what wholesaling is based off the house part, right? But not a lot of people know that you can wholesale anything in real estate, whether it's commercial buildings, apartments, condos, land, gas stations. I mean, anything, dog, right? Wow. And how I came across land, I remember one day I was just chilling, just going through YouTube, and I seen a dude talking about, hey, you can wholesale land without no money. And I'm thinking like, all right, wholesale land, it sounds like the same thing as wholesaling houses. Watch a little bit more videos. And, I hit up DeAndre. I was like, hey, Dre, have you ever thought about wholesaling land? Because, like I said, he was the one that put me on a wholesaling period. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, man, I thought about it, but, I'll probably get to it sometime later. I was like, man, this shit sound way easier than houses. Because, when I first started with the house game, man, was I having trouble.
Mm.
You know, the first 4 months, I couldn't buy a deal. I couldn't even get a deal under contract.
Damn.
It was just so hard. It was just so competitive, right? And what made me want to really switch over to land was it was not saturated. It was literally no competitors. So when I jumped into the land game, I literally just dove headfirst. I took the basic knowledge that I knew already from wholesaling houses and just implemented it into land, right? And then my first deal, man, I was on Zillow.com, just looking at land deals that was on for sale by owner. Found this little 3,500 square foot lot in Miami, right? And the dude had it listed for 45, right? And you know, I was looking at it, I was like, damn, why is this so much money? But
Yeah.
little do people know, right? That little small 3,500 square foot lot, you can actually put a duplex on that property. So it was definitely worth some money. So when I seen it, you know, I reached out to him, you know, kind of built that conversation, built rapport. And as I was looking around some sold comps in the area, I seen another property sell for 55, same size, literally up the street. And I reached out to him. I seen that sell. And I literally immediately hit him back. I was like, hey man, would you take 40,000 for the property? And immediately he was like, yeah, if you can get this closed in the next 2 weeks, yeah, let's make it happen. And literally I, you know, got him on a contract, and the person that I seen help sell that property for 55,000, it was a realtor. I basically pick up the phone. I called the realtor that got that property sold for 55,000, and I told her that I had another property that was similar to what she helped sell. And I asked her, you know, did you want it? Right? But I told her I would give it to her at a discount if she can close in a week, 2 weeks, because that's what the guy wanted. And also, the guy wanted me to put $5,000 down as a deposit. Rich, at the time, I didn't even have 5K to my name.
Gotcha.
Right. So that's where the power of no money down real estate comes from, because now that I had a contract for 40,000 with $5,000 down on the contract, I was able to sell that piece of paper for 45,000 to the realtor who wanted to buy that property. And I made her put $5,000 because on that assignment contract, I basically disclosed that, hey, she would have to put $5,000 to get this deal done. Right. And then once I had both contracts, got it over to the title company, literally a week later, title was free and clear. There was no issues with the property. We closed on it. The guy got his 40,000. I got a $5,000 check, and the buyer got the property and decided, you know, to build a duplex on it, you know, months later. But man, that was the quickest $5,000 I've ever made in my life. And at the time, I was working at Home Depot making $200 a week. Dog, literally, it was literally a surreal moment. I remember getting that call from the title company. You know, they were saying, hey Jeff, you know, we got the $5,000 check, can you come pick it up? And at the time, I was working all the way in Delray, so that was kind of an hour drive. Man, I clocked out so fast. I literally went straight to Miami. I didn't even, you know, check in with my boss. I just left, right? Printed out that went to go pick up that $5,000 check. And then that from that moment, I knew wholesaling land was the one. For sure.
Okay. Nah, I definitely love that. You know, real estate, a lot of people definitely been telling me to get into the real estate game. And, you know, what I'm starting to learn is just like tech, you know, there's so many different avenues of approach when it comes to these different fields, you know, crypto, real estate, tech, all of these things, you know, and people usually come up to you and a specific way like, oh, just jump into this, but they don't really inform you how deep it really goes. And, you know, this is my first time even hearing about, you know, this type of wholesaling. And so, you know, that's really interesting. And so before I ask some more questions, I want to, how did you meet Dre? Because Dre seems like he's a definite plug for sure.
Man, dog, it's so crazy. So I met DeAndre, right? So before I started working at Home Depot, I had got my first corporate job at Enterprise, right? And it was a really good experience. Shout out to all my 9-to-5 workers. If you're working a 9-to-5 right now, man, stack that money up, right? Stack it up. Use that job to gain skills and experiences, because right, the same skills and experiences that you learn from that 9-to-5, you can literally implement and start a whole business, right? So, you know, I was blessed to, you know, get this corporate job at Enterprise as a management trainee. And you know how these jobs are, man. When they first hire you, man, they treat you like a god. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, man, they put me and DeAndre in this nice hotel. They was feeding us every day. And, at the time, I didn't have no entrepreneur mindset. I didn't, all I saw myself doing was growing within a company. And I saw enterprise as a chance to grow and actually, become something in that company. But man, when I met DeAndre, right, because he got hired at the same time as me, we were actually hotel buddies, right? So
Got
they
it.
put us in the same hotel together. And dog, I kid you not, Rich. I remember one day, I had woke up, I just seen DeAndre just on his laptop, right, just talking to people, making calls, and I didn't know what he was doing, Rich. I didn't understand. I didn't, comprehend exactly what he was doing. So I asked him. I was like, "Hey, Dre, what are you doing over there? Sounds like you're doing a lot of work. Sounds like you're busy over there." Meanwhile, the whole time, Rich, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, "Hey, we just got this job.
Yeah,
We about to be making, $45,000 a year starting off." And to me, that's money because I ain't never made that type of money.
of course.
I played basketball all my life, so me getting into that job was like a big thing for me. So me, I'm chilling, got my feet kicked up. Whole time DeAndre is hustling his butt off,
Mm.
and he said something to me that always stick. But before I even get to that, I asked him what he was doing over there, and he basically told me that, yeah, man, I'm actually wholesaling. I wholesale, dog. And I told him, I was like, hey, what is that? It sounds like a lot of work. He's like, basically, I flip contracts, I get it under contract, sell it for a higher price to an investor, and I make what's in between. And I was like, man, that sounds like a lot of work. I was like, well, did you close a deal already? And he was like, nah. And at the time, he was just starting off, but he hadn't closing the deal already. But he knew from the beginning it was real, right? And basically, what he told me, he was like, honestly, Jeff, I'm not even here to take this job serious. I'm only here to learn how to sell. Because he didn't know how to talk on the phone with these sellers when he was wholesaling, right? Building his business on the side. But he basically told me, he's like, hey, Jeff, I'm gonna be honest, I'm only here to learn how to sell. Because man, I gotta work on my phone skills. A lot of people say I sound too angry on the phone. I sound, too monotone. So I'm literally here to pick up the skills from the job and basically, go all in my business. He said, that's just how much I believe in wholesale. And, at the time I still didn't understand. I'm like, man, Jerry, you tripping, dog. We got this job, $45,000 a year, man. We can build and grow with this company. And he was like, nah, man, you don't get it. In 6 months, they're gonna let us go. They're gonna fire us. He's like, man, it's a system. It's rigged for us. So he basically told me, man, take what you can out of his job and build something on the side. Right. And I just knew he was wired different because nobody ever told me that before, Rich. And something in my spirit told me, was like, yo, stay close to this guy. Like, he knows what he's talking about. And as time went on, 6 months later, Rich, I got fired.
Wow.
It's so crazy. Got fired from my job at Enterprise, and 2 weeks later, DeAndre gets fired. And
Sheesh.
I remember counting it. I was like, damn, how long have I been working here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 months.
Damn.
And I called DeAndre. I was like, yo, fam, you called it from the very beginning. You wasn't lying. And this was during COVID, 2020. I got fired in March 2020. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Damn.
Sick to my stomach. Right. So literally when that happened, called DeAndre. I was like, yo, bro, you was right. I can't believe it. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do now. And at the time, my son was born. He was 3 months, and I was scrambling, dog. I was trying to look for another job, right? Was starting to apply to other jobs during COVID. And at that time, it was hard. Everybody was getting laid off. And I knew it really hit me when I applied to Amazon. Well, not Amazon. It was Whole Foods. I applied to Whole Foods, and I couldn't even get a job at Whole Foods. And I had a whole bachelor's degree, right? And something, I don't know, man, Rich, something just lit a fire in me. And basically what it was I can't let the next man have control over my time or my money. Because as you can see, they can let me go within a hurry, within a snap of a finger, and not really care about my situation. So I decided to put that faith and situation in my own hands and start my own business. And that's when, I decided, hey, DeAndre, let's lock in. I want to lock in with you. I want to do this wholesaling thing. I don't care how long it takes. I'm willing to build something for myself, for my fam, that nobody can take away from me. Right. And it just lit a fuse inside of me, dog. And then I kid you not, stayed down. It was just me and DeAndre putting in work, putting our head down for 4 months straight, 5 months straight. No deal. I ain't getting no deal. I wasn't getting paid. Right. So I was putting in the work with no money like coming in. And that's really hard for a lot of people when they first start off their entrepreneurship, because, they try to look for that instant success. They want to see that money. They want to see that money in their hand in the next few days, unless, it's a scam. But nah, man, I was putting in work for 4 or 5 months, no money, no, nothing coming back to me. But the reason why I kept going is because I knew on the other side it was something for me coming. And that's when, 4 months, 5 months later, I closed my first deal for $5,000. And from there, I just knew it was real. And I looked at DeAndre and I just, forever grateful for him, forever, man. Because he installed that mindset into me from the very beginning. And I just took it and ran with it.
Nah, that's definitely love. Big shout outs to DeAndre.
Yeah, he's the one, man. He's the GOAT. That's my brother, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. This podcast was definitely made also to, be a beacon or a target towards new people coming into entrepreneurship and understanding that entrepreneurship is more of a journey than something that you just do. A lot of people come in here and they're like, oh, I'm just going to make all this money and I'm going to have all the time in the world and this and that. And it's really not. It's not all, unicorns and rainbows. And it's definitely a way of life that you have to situate yourself. And so, me just speaking to y'all that are going to be watching this, you have to be able to build a set of systems on a whole entire different level. And so part of the course that I teach is you have 4 systems set up in your life when it comes to business. And so you have to take care of your mental, you have to take care of your emotional, you have to take care of your physical, and that enables you to take care of your financial. A lot of people try to go for their financial straight out the gate, and all the other 3 have things going on and it doesn't work and they don't know why. But hearing that story, just that ability, that faith to be mentally, in the game for 4 or 5 months without receiving anything, that takes a certain level of character.
Yeah. And I would tell anybody out there that's starting to, go into their entrepreneurship journey, read books, a lot of mindset books out there, because, I didn't have the right mindset when I first started. I was thinking like, man, because it was plenty of times, Rich, where I wanted to quit, man. I wanted to quit because I'm like, dog, I'm 3 months in. I ain't see not one check. I'm making all these calls. I started to get discouraged a little bit. But man, as I kept reading these books, it just started to grow my mindset literally every single day, understanding that everything is a journey. Because the first thing you want to do before getting into entrepreneurship is changing your mindset, right? Mindset is key. If you don't believe from the very beginning that you can make $10,000 in a month, you lost, right? Because life is abundant. You can do anything, you definitely put your mind to and manifest. So for the very beginning, I didn't have that mindset. I didn't think making $10,000 in a month was even real. I thought I only had to do that either working my way up, working a 9 to 5, or man, scamming.
Exactly.
Like literally, I didn't know the fastest way to making $10,000 until I got into real estate. And dog, I had to literally change my mindset and change the way that I think before getting into it, because that was most important for me, was mindset. Because if you don't believe from the very beginning, you lost.
Absolutely. And then the next part of that is also, thinking bigger.
Man.
There's so many times in businesses that I've created where I thought too small,
man,
and that has been a kryptonite because it requires so much more work to undo a certain foundation that you already built. $10,000 a month at the time, when I first really started getting into it, it was like, okay, cool. We had 10K a month. Like, it's great. It's everything. And now, we do maybe 40, 50. And
Yeah.
I understand that even that's not enough.
That's not enough,
And so it's
dog.
like, oh man, you got to really lock in, mentally. And so how did you guys transition? Because I remember you saying it was definitely difficult for you on the wholesale and the actual house type part. How did you transition to the actual vacant lots?
Yeah, so after I closed my first deal for 5,000, I literally stopped looking at houses, right? I told DeAndre, and at the time DeAndre was still doing houses because he was still stuck on it. That's what he knew from the very beginning. That's all he knew was houses. And when I closed my first deal for 5K, he was like, he started scratching his head. He was like, okay, dang, like Jeff really did it. He took action and actually closed his first deal. But it was a land deal. But still, DeAndre was still stuck on houses. And then that's when I took that 5K, I reinvested it, back into my business. Finally I got an LLC, did all the things that I wanted to do as far as like start it up. And then my second deal, it was a tax deed deal where I found a piece of lot in Port St. Lucie that was heading to the tax deed auction. It was actually going to auction because the guy was behind on his taxes. And I was able to get in contact with him before it went to auction and actually get under contract and sell his property. And my second deal, I ended up making 4,500, right? So I made 9,500 in less than 45 days.
Wow.
Right. And this is when it really hit, right? Because at the time I'm still working at Home Depot, Rich. Right. I ain't, and I was working at Home Depot part-time. It wasn't full-time. But this one it really hit was when I closed my third deal. Right. And then my third deal, I had another partner who brung me, I think it was like a 4-acre parcel in Tampa, near Tampa. And we had it under contract for $195,000, and we ended up selling it for $225,000, I believe.
Nice.
And me and that partner that brought me the deal, he ended up walking away with a $17,000 check, and I ended up walking away with a $17,000 check.
Wow.
And the thing that really hit different, Rich, I was at Home Depot when I printed that check out. So in the back of Home Depot, they have these computers, and I got an email notification from the title company basically saying, hey, we're all closed up. I'm going to send you an e-check. Man, I went straight to the back so fast, and I went on my email, printed out the check at Home Depot. I'm literally staring at it, and I can even show you the picture after this. But I'm literally staring at the check. I'm looking at my apron. I'm staring at the check. I'm like, dog, I just made $17,000 in Home Depot right now. These people don't even know how much money I just printed out. I'm gone. I'm gone. Like, I didn't look back. And that's when it hit different for me, man. I realized, I was like, yo, dog, I just made over 20K in less than 2 months. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. And literally, man, I quit on the spot. I didn't put no 2 weeks in. I just jumped off of faith, man. And I went all in with the business, reinvested, got a CRM, started, investing more, buying more leads and stuff like that. And then from there, scaled it, started hiring VAs, adding people to my team. And then slowly but surely started becoming a 6-figure a month business, literally over time. So, man, that's how it all started, man. And really those 3 deals, it was all land deals. And I knew that land was the way. Land was the way. And the reason why I knew it was the way, Rich, when I started doing houses, whenever I would call these sellers, I would probably be like the 8th or 9th person to get in contact with these people. Because when you're wholesaling houses, you're going against other people out there. There's some sharks out there that are spending $100,000 a month on data.
Absolutely.
So compared to me, I'm trying to get these data for free.
Yeah.
These boys putting in 100K, they're the first, second person to get in contact with a seller, right? Who can actually give them a pretty good offer and close on a property. And, it was times I was discouraged, right? The sellers be like, yeah, you're like the 10th person that called. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
I can't even, get my offer off because it's 9 other people that made a solid offer. So, of course she's not going to take mine. So that's what really was discouraging. But man, when I transferred over the land, Rich, I was like the second person to
Wow.
get in contact with these people. And it was like, hey, make an offer, let's get it on a contract, I'll sell it to you. Right. There was no emotional attachment. Right. And that's what really made me switch over, because the emotional attachment, a lot of sellers have an emotional attachment to their house because, one, they probably grew up there all their life.
Yeah.
They were raised there, so they're not going to let their house go for, a little bit of money. Right. But when it came to the land game, it was just dirt. Right. And a majority of the sellers that I used to speak to, they lived out of state. They're in California, they're in Idaho. They ain't see this piece of land in Florida in like 20 years. They don't care
Yeah.
about it. They forgot about it. So I'm reaching out to them like, hey, I see that you own this piece of land at 123 Main Street. I wanted to know if you would be interested in a cash offer for it. And they were like, yeah, I mean, I forgot I even had this piece of land. Hey, how much would you give me for it? And then other times I knew from the beginning, like, yo, he don't even know what he got.
Yeah.
Let me offer this dude 15,000, knowing I can sell it for 35. So I would literally give him a number, and it was like, all right, yeah, let's make it work.
Got it.
Literally get him on a contract, and dog, it'll be the smoothest closing ever because it's just dirt. You know what I mean? It's just dirt. And a builder, they just want to buy dirt and put a house on it. So it was a lot more easier to transition to compared to houses.
Got you. Okay. And so I'm sure DeAndre made the switch after you.
Oh, come on. Hey, he didn't even hesitate. He was like, hey, man, I'm jumping all in the land game. He stopped looking at houses. Now, all we do is buy houses now, now that we have the capital. But yeah, man, he'd been stopped wholesaling houses years ago.
Got you.
Yeah. Especially after that $17,000 check.
Absolutely. Okay. So see, this is exactly why it's important for you to have an attractive mindset, because everything that, these is why I wanted to have a platform like this, because that's just like what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
3 years ago, dog.
You know what I'm saying? That's right around the corner. That's a high school, year, or high school, whatever, high school lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But from 4 years to now, doing over six figures a month in a business, that's astronomical type numbers. That's getting to the next level, and it's all from a shift in mindset, a shift in faith, a shift in just believing in yourself. And that's the biggest part of entrepreneurship. Even if I've met people that have skills up front, have talent up front, can do everything, but they lack the mindset, and the business just goes spiraling down. So okay, so now you're buying these vacant lots, everything is going good. Now you said, now that you have the capital, you start buying these houses. What made y'all want to really get into that part of it?
I mean, of course, wholesaling is a way to gain capital, right? That's the main reason why we wanted to start wholesaling, because we realized that we can make $40,000 in a month compared to working a 9 to 5 to make $40K a year. It's a lot faster. You cut the time in half. So we kind of use wholesaling as a gateway to now give us access to gain as much capital as possible to now dump it into these hard assets, right? Because we can go out and go be flashy, buy the Lamborghinis, buy the watches and stuff like that, but it doesn't do us no justice when we got family members that we want to take care of and build that generational wealth. So what we decided to start doing was taking that down and actually buying properties. DeAndre, he has 7 acres of land over here in Mississippi, and he actually has a small mobile home park that he built. He has like 4 mobile homes. We also have like a few rental properties together. I just closed on a property over here in Fort Lauderdale, not too far from here.
Nice.
And that's all from wholesaling land, man. Right? Just building that capital, and now going back to put on the floor, put on the dirt, because that's just as important as getting the money, right? But it's not always about getting the money. It's about what you do with the money. So,
Absolutely.
We decided to purchase assets because, God forbid, wholesaling dies tomorrow. We got these properties that'll pay us forever, right? And that's just way more important than actually gaining the capital from wholesaling.
Got you. So what made you guys want to start, basically like an academy?
Man, it was crazy, Rich. So, I would say 2 years ago when I started seeing these deals come through consistently, right? I will post, my wins on social media. letting people know that, hey, I just made $25,000 in a week. People was hitting me up like, yo, what the hell? Like, how the hell you did that? Are you scamming? People thought I was scamming at first,
Of
Rich.
course.
Compared to the average mind, they're like, no way you can make that type of money in a week or in a month. But man, I was starting to post, my checks and stuff like that, just posting, documenting, what I was doing. Like, hey, I'm locking up deals, doing this. And I just had an influx of people just DMing me like, yo, Jeff, I want to learn what you do. It looks like, man, dog, you making a lot of money out here, bro. I want to sit down. I want to learn from you. At first, we would do one-on-one consultations, helping people get started for only $100. And I'm talking about, man, we give
that's love. Yeah.
Bro, first we started off, we were like, hey man, let's do a consultation, for an hour, only $100. I will show you how to get started, everything, how to start your wholesaling business. And that's how we first started off doing it. Right. And then, now it started to grow and a lot of people, started referring people to us. And it got to a point where it was like every day, like people was hitting us up, like 5-10 people hitting us up every day. Like, hey, I want to do a consultation. I want to do a consultation. But then, it kind of got tiring and I was like, hey, Dre, I think we should start a community, right? Because all these people, right? We need to put all these people in a community where we have these courses and we have 24/7 mentorship to actually help these people. So I just felt like it was smarter to do it that way than to actually do a consultation every here and there. Was bring everybody to one community. So not only that they're learning from us, but they're connecting to other people that's in the community that's also doing deals. And we started this community last year, June. I hit up DeAndre. I was like, hey, Dre, I think we should start a community. At first, DeAndre was like, yeah, like I think we should, but he wasn't all into it at first. But I told him, I was like, hey, Dre, man, like, I think this
digital money.
This the digital money. And also we can also help a lot of people, because, having a community is just as important in getting started, because when we started, we didn't have no community, right? We didn't have that guidance. We didn't have nobody to like really hold our hand to our first deal. We really went off just straight faith and risk, right? So I really felt like this community would help cut the learning curve in half for a lot of people. And we started up in June, and the minute that we announced it, dog, I think we made like $10,000 that same day when we announced it. And boom, just hella people just started signing up for that community. And man, it was just from then to now. I mean, dog, we've changed over 100 lives. I want to give you a success story. We have a 19-year-old student that's in our community. She's from Dallas, Texas, and she's a college student. She's a full-time college student, Rich. She joined our community back in December, late December, right? She hit me up through the DM. She basically just wanted to get on a 15-minute call, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's jump on a quick call, because she was interested in getting a community. I got on a call with her. I explained to her, what our community comes with, etc. And she signed up right then and there. Right. She took action immediately. And Rich, I kid you not, 4 months later, this girl made over $100,000 since joining our community. And she's 19. At 19 years old, I didn't even have that mindset. I wasn't even thinking about money at 19. I was thinking about just living life, going to the next party.
Exactly.
But, the fact that, she took action and signed up that same day, the minute I told her about it, to now, it was just, I knew that our community was very important, because it not only changed our life, but it changed her life, right, in 4 months. So now, now she's in the process of scaling her business. And dog, the fact that she's doing all this at 19 is mind blowing, because it don't matter where you are. It don't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're a felon, fresh out of high school, fresh out of college. You can do what we're doing, which is wholesaling land, flipping land contracts, right? Because you don't need no license. You don't need no sales experience. All you need is the mindset. All you need is the grit to not quit on yourself. Because yes, there's times, you're going to run across the people that's going to tell you no, thank you. But I mean, dog, you can't let a no stop you from making $10,000, right? So, hey, how I see it, I'd rather get 100 people to tell me no and then get that that next person to tell me yes and make 5K, right? Or 10K or 20K, 30K. It doesn't matter, right? It's infinite, right? Because you control how much you make in this business, which is why I love it so much, right? Because it all comes down to building relationships, building rapport, and making the right offers based on the conversation.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. 19 doing numbers.
Shout out to Brooklyn Brown. That's her name, man. Dallas, Texas.
Brooklyn Brown, Dallas, Texas. Wow. So you're teaching other people not only in other states, but with all different type of backgrounds and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you come from, man. It doesn't matter. As long as you're ready to work, ready to grow, ready to learn and unlearn certain things in order to get to where you're trying to go, you're going to win in the end.
Got it. Okay. And so what would be 3 key pieces of advice that you would give people, that may already be in this type of field or want to start this type of field?
I would say, like I said, mindset, changing your mindset, because that's very important. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have really poor mindsets as far as investing into themselves, investing into their education, right? There's people out there that would rather go spend $1,000 on some Louis Vuitton shoes, but, look at a possible opportunity to make 5-10K a month and not spend $100, which, kind of sucks, but that's a society that we live in now. But I would say mindset for sure. Number 2, invest into yourself. Education is very important, whether it's reading books, podcasts, even YouTube, starting off on YouTube, just watching different people, learning from different people. Cause that's what I did starting off, man. I was on YouTube every single day when I first started wholesaling, because I wanted to sharpen up my negotiating skills. So I would watch, these other wholesale gurus, Max Maxwell, Jerry Norton, and these guys, they have tons of content on just wholesaling real estate, period, to where, they're showing you how to negotiate live. And that was something that I wanted to kind of master every single day. And I was up 4 a.m. just watching these guys for free.
Chris Voss,
man, Grant Cardone. I mean, everybody. I was learning. I was just taking game from everybody. So, definitely invest your time and energy into just watching watching YouTube videos, podcasts, reading books. And number 3, investing into education. Because when you invest in education, you cut the time in half, right? Because you can learn from YouTube. You can definitely learn, the ABCs, and you can definitely make money starting off learning from YouTube as well, taking that free knowledge. But, there's going to be times where you're probably going to need help, or you're going to get stuck in a certain situation to where, dang, I'm not in a community, or dang, I don't have a mentor to help me. That's where investing into a community, investing into a mentor is very crucial, because now you just cut the time in half, right? And that's basically what Brooklyn did, right? Because she told me, when she first started, she would learn from YouTube, watch these YouTube videos, but the minute she joined a community, she cut the time in half and did 100K in 4 months.
Wow.
So it was like, yo, it works when you do that, when you invest into yourself, when you invest into the community, because now, you have mentors that's genuinely, literally want you to win. So as long as they do, anybody out there, as long as, they want to do those 3 things, I think, success for them is a lot more quicker and a lot more shorter when you do those 3 things. Because that's how I was able to find success really fast, was doing those 3 things.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so tell everybody where they can find you out on social media, and if they wanted to join your academy, your community, how they would do that.
Yeah. So for anybody out there listening, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Jeffrey Altidort. That's JeffreyAltidort. And if you guys want to join our community and learn how to flip land contracts from the comfort of your own home without no money, hit up Rich. He's going to have the link in his bio. And then from there, we can get in contact, or you can shoot me a DM or shoot Rich a DM. And either or, we'll be able to help you get started and closing your first deal.
Absolutely. You guys definitely heard it here first. Mr. Jeffrey Altidort, absolute champion in the industry, 4 years in the game and already
sir.
doing numbers, making, you know, what's the name of your company again?
Land Flipping Empire.
Land Flipping Empire. And so, you know, LFE, once you hear those
LFE.
initials, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
you already know you're getting into something great. And so definitely, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share this with a friend. If you made it to the end of this video, you know, hit me up. You know, I'll give you a special code. Say, you know, I made it to the end of the video, and I'm guaranteed that Jeff is going to hook you up with something nice when you join the community. So, you know, as we say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back, we out of here.
Let's go.